Hello. So I'm in the booth and I'm attempting to practice an audio audition script for an audiobook. So I signed up for ACX. That's a website where you can sign up to potentially narrate a book, and the author has notes and has sample scripts up. So I am not ready to really submit an audition for real, because I still have to learn how to edit. I have to learn how to save by chapter. The author may want you to submit one chapter at a time or three chapters at a time, and then they may have edits once you submit. And if you're doing different voices as well, you have to remember. Like, I saw there was a way to save, like if you're doing different voices, how to save clips when you do different characters. So if you're 10 chapters in and you have this character come back up and you haven't had them since the second chapter, you can go back and familiarize yourself with how you read that voice, and the octave that you read that voice in, so you can be consistent throughout the book. So I have not learned all that yet. It's a lot that goes into this. It's not just click and start and record and reading. Like, you have to know how to edit it, and so I'm not ready for that just yet. I am using the DAW, which is a digital audio workstation. I'm using Reaper. So I've been looking up videos on YouTube and stuff on how to use this particular system. I've learned how to try to take the like mouth clicks and everything out. Uh, and just if I mess up, I can go back. Like, I have it set to where I can go back like 5 seconds and then just start, without having to start all the way from the beginning, because I used to do that, start all the way from the beginning when I messed up. But now I know how to, when I stop it, and it automatically goes back like 5 seconds, so I can just re-record the part that I messed up on. So, learning slowly but surely. The more I practice, I think that's why I haven't been practicing as much, because I'm intimidated a little bit by the editing process. I really like the reading process and focusing and bringing the story to life, but the editing is a different beast that I have to conquer, and I'm learning. So I found an audition script, and I like ACX too, because you can filter. Like, if I want to do fiction or nonfiction, I can filter. I can do for African American voices specifically, Black female voices specifically. So I found one, and it is a male and female voice, and I cannot do a male voice for real, for real. So my trick that I'm going to try is to read the woman's voice a little higher, and that way the male voice, I'll just have to read as deep as I can go. That'll be the male voices, and that naturally sounds good and not me trying too hard. So the author has notes, and she said it's a duet narration. She says, please read only the lines for your gender. But in order for this to make sense with the recording for you guys, I'm going to read the female and the male voice. And it says, be natural, emotionally grounded, and no exaggerated acting. So she just wants a regular read, it seems like. I can do regular. So I'm just going to jump in. Let me get my system together so I can start recording. And the notes say the first one is an internal narration from the female. So she's talking to herself internally. Then you have a dialogue from the male. And then she has another internal dialogue. So it's back and forth between female and male. So this should be interesting. And I'm just going to jump in and start recording. And I got to lean sort of closer to my mic. So that's why if you see me lean in, I'm trying to be a little closer to my mic. And here we go. I learned how to be alone without being lonely. At least that's what I told myself. My days were full work, responsibilities, people who needed me. I showed up, I handled things, I kept moving. But somewhere between being dependable and being strong, I stopped being seen. It wasn't that I didn't believe in love anymore. I just didn't trust myself to recognize it when it showed up. So when his name popped up on my phone, I stared at it longer than I should have. Not because I was excited, but because my body reacted before my mind could talk me out of it. I told myself to be calm, to be cautious, to remember who I was before I let someone's presence rearrange me. This is the male voice now. You always take this long to respond? He said, his voice calm, almost amused. I don't like rushing conversations, I replied, especially ones that matter. I respect that, he said. Too many people talk just to be heard. Not enough listen to understand. That should have been a simple comment, but it landed heavier than expected. I was used to people liking the idea of me, the strength, the consistency, the way I made things easier. But he sounded like someone who was curious about the parts of me that didn't perform. And that made me nervous. I'm not here to impress you, he continued. I'm trying to be honest. I've spent enough time pretending to be who I thought I was supposed to be. Honesty. That word always sounded good in theory. But honesty required space, and I wasn't sure I had room for what might come with it. Still, I found myself leaning into the sound of his voice, listening for what wasn't being said. Female voice. I don't need grand gestures, I said quietly. I don't need grand gestures, I said quietly. I just need consistency and truth. I'm tired of guessing where I stand. You won't have to guess with me. You won't have to guess with me, he replied. If something changes, I'll say it. If I'm here, you'll know. Something in me softened at that. Not because I believed him completely, but because he didn't rush to convince me. And for the first time in a long while, I allowed myself to wonder what it might feel like to be met where I actually was. Okay, so that was it. That was a sample script. So I'm going to let me stop recording. I'm going to try to edit this, make it sound good, and make sure my recording levels are where they need to be, because ACX has a lot of like restrictions and how you submit and everything. So I have to learn all of that. I just signed up today, so I have to learn all the rules and how to submit and making sure my volume is within the right range. So very specific things that they posted. So I'm just having to learn that now. So hopefully I'll get to play with this and maybe eventually like put it online so you guys can hear it, the final outcome. But for today, it's just practice, and I'll probably be in here a couple more, like at least 30 more minutes before my husband comes home, so I can practice in quiet and in silence, because you need these earphones and this microphone pick up everything. So I'm trying to take advantage of when I have the house to myself so I can practice. So if you haven't already followed or liked, please follow along for my journey and like, share. If you have tips, please comment below. But yeah, I'm new to this. I've been in it since February last year I started, but I took some time off, and now I'm trying to pick it back up and make something shake. So like, subscribe, follow me, and stay tuned, because I will be in the booth more often and love to hear critiques and your opinions. So talk to you guys later.